There's this feeling I've had lately, like the future isn't just arriving, it's leaping at us.
Yeah.
Not slow steps, but these sudden jumps, bypassing years, maybe decades, of what we thought was, the normal pace.
That sense of an unexpectedly accelerated timeline? Yeah, that's exactly what we've seen across multiple fields, especially like over the last year or so.
Right, and you have to ask, why now? What's pushing things so much faster all of a sudden? We've been digging into some source material looking at exactly this, these really rapid, sometimes surprising breakthroughs. And there's a common thread, isn't there? A powerful one.
It really seems to be AI. The sources point strongly towards it, often, working behind the scenes, almost like a silent partner.
Yeah, driving the surprising speed.
Exactly. In research and development.
It's like AI isn't just the goal anymore. It's become the rocket fuel getting us there.
That's a good way to put it.
So our mission here in this deep dive is to explore how AI, sometimes obviously, but often kind of hidden, has triggered this shockingly rapid progress.
In areas like biotech, medicine,
Material science, clean energy, even computing itself, all in just the last 12 months, really.
you really do get that sense of amazement at the compressed timelines.
Totally. So we'll unpack specific examples, the source material highlights, look at AI's role, and try to understand why these feel so, ahead of schedule.
Okay, where should we start?
Let's begin with biotech and medicine. I mean, this is an area where faster progress feels incredibly urgent, right? And the speed lately, it's been unprecedented. AI seems to be turning years into months.
Yeah, a really striking example of the source flags is the discovery of a new antibiotic back in 2023. It's called abaucin.
Abaucin. Okay, what's the big deal with that one?
Well, it's a totally new compound, and it's effective against Acinetobacter. That's one of the top drug-resistant superbugs, WHO calls it a critical threat.
Ah, right. Those are terrifying. And finding new antibiotics against them has been slow going.
Decades, really. Conventional methods just weren't cracking it for this class.
So how did AI break the deadlock? Because traditional screening takes forever.
That's exactly where the acceleration happened. They used a deep learning AI model. It screened thousands, literally thousands of potential molecules in silico.
In silico. So computationally, in a simulation.
In a virtual environment, it looked at maybe 7,000 candidates and boom, narrowed it down to just a handful that looked really promising.
Wow.
Which massively cut down the slow, expensive lab testing needed at the start.
So instead of decades of trial and error in wet labs, AI flags a potential superbug killer in months.
Pretty much.
Okay, that definitely feels like an emerging capability, a real timeline leap.
Yeah, it really shows AI's potential to speed up that initial crucial drug discovery phase. Gives you some hope against these resistant bacteria.
But it's not just finding molecules anymore, is it?
Yeah.
The source mentions AI is now involved in actually designing drugs from the ground up, like something called rentocertib.
Rentocertib is?
Yeah.
It's genuinely groundbreaking. It's a drug candidate for a nasty lung disease, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Okay.
But what's really unique here is that both the biological target, like what the drug needs to hit in the body, and the drug molecule itself, were identified using generative AI.
Wait, hang on. AI didn't just find a key to fit a known lock. It helped figure out which lock to even target in the first place.
Exactly. They use one AI platform, Pandiomics, to pinpoint the novel biological target. Then another AI, Chemistry 42, designed the BISP molecule to hit that target.
Okay, my mind is slightly blown. How fast did this happen? Compared to normal, I mean.
Well, typically going from a biological idea to designing a molecule, getting it ready for clinical trials, that usually takes, 4 to 5 years?
Yeah.
Minimum.
Sounds about right.
This rentocertib project, concept to clinical candidate in just 18 months.
18 months.
And it's already showing positive signs in early trials.
That is an incredible compression. First drug where AI found the target and the molecule.
Yeah.
That really validates these AI pipelines, doesn't it? Delivering real medicines faster, maybe cheaper. Tackling complex diseases sooner. And it goes even further. The source highlights research, really recent stuff from 2025, using AI to engineer enzymes completely from scratch.
Enzymes? The little protein machines driving biology.
Yeah.
Designing a new one sounds incredibly hard.
Oh, it was considered a grand challenge in biochemistry for decades. Progress was mostly just tinkering with existing enzymes, making small tweaks.
Right.
But a lab at the University of Washington used this generative AI model called RF diffusion. And this AI designed totally new protein structures with specific custom-built active sites to do particular chemical jobs, basically inventing new enzymes.
So AI isn't just modifying nature's designs, it's creating entirely new biological catalysts on demand.
Precisely. The AI-generated blueprints, they built them in the lab and they worked. Performance approaching natural enzymes, it's a massive leap beyond what was possible before.
That really feels emergent, like truly new capability. Offloading complex molecular design to AI. Think what that could unlock for medicine, for industry, solving problems faster.
And what's really interesting, something the source points out, is the timing. All these biotech breakthroughs, abocin, rentosertib, the enzyme work, happen roughly within a year or so of major AI models like GPT-4 being released in early 2023.
So even if AI wasn't the only factor, the arrival of these powerful general-purpose AI tools probably gave researchers a huge boost for analysis, simulation, coding, just generating ideas.
It seems highly likely. It's like that silent hand boosting productivity everywhere, even if it's not always explicitly credited in the final publication.
It's global too, right? The source mentions teams in Canada, the US, UK, China.
Yeah, absolutely. AI seems to be leveling the playing field somewhat, acting as a force multiplier.
So what this means for you, listening, just imagine. Diseases that seemed impossible to tackle might get treatments faster. New medicines could arrive years sooner because that initial discovery bottleneck is being smashed by AI. That's the real impact here.
Okay, so shifting from the micro world of biology to the atomic level, material science. This is another field where AI is just exploring possibilities at a scale that was, frankly, unimaginable for humans.
Right, the source talks about Google DeepMind's GenomeE project. That was 2023.
Yeah, GenomeE stands for Graph Neural Network for Materials. And this project predicted the stability of over 2 million new inorganic crystals.
2 million. That number is hard to even grasp.
The source puts it in context. It's like 800 years worth of traditional materials discovery effort.
Wow.
All in one project. And about 380,000 of those predicted materials are expected to be ultra-stable, so potentially very useful.
800 years of progress compressed like that. Okay,
Yeah.
that's emergent scale. How did it work?
GenomeE is a deep learning model. It was trained on structures we already knew, and then it just evaluated billions of potential ways atoms could arrange themselves. Way faster than any lab experiment or even conventional simulation could manage.
And did they check if these predictions were real?
Crucially, yes. 736, I think, of the predicted structures were actually made and tested by independent labs around the world almost concurrently, and they checked out.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the AI explores this vast unknown space, finds potentially revolutionary materials, and the global scientific community jumps in to verify super quickly.
Exactly. It shows how AI can map out these huge chemical design spaces exponentially faster. It opens up whole new classes of materials we didn't even know could exist, which, significantly increases the chances of finding something amazing, like maybe a new superconductor, hidden in that data.
And the global validation part shows how these AI discoveries are being adopted and acted on really fast. It helps level the playing field too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Smaller labs can access and work with this data.
For sure.
So why does this matter to you? Well, new materials are the bedrock of technology. Think better batteries for your phone and car, lighter materials for planes, faster computer chips, even stuff we can't imagine yet.
Mm-hmm.
AI is making these possibilities arrive much, much faster.
And speaking of batteries, the source highlights a specific example. A new solid-state battery electrolyte discovered in 2024. This was Microsoft working with PNL.
PNNL, Pacific Northwest National Lab.
Right.
Solid-state batteries are kind of the next big hope. Safer, maybe less reliant on lithium.
That's the goal. And again, the timeline here is just startling. Using AI plus massive cloud computing power, they sifted through 32 million potential compounds.
32 million.
And they narrowed it down to 18 really promising ones in just 80 hours.
80 hours. Finding one good battery material usually takes years of painstaking lab work.
It's a genuine timeline shock. It really highlights AI as this incredible force multiplier for clean tech R&D. And it makes you wonder, how many other recent battery breakthroughs might have had some hidden AI help?
Yeah, absolutely.
AI seems capable of identifying and solving these critical bottlenecks, like finding a good electrolyte, way faster than we thought possible.
So those safer, longer-lasting batteries for your EV or your phone, they might be coming years ahead of what the old projections suggested, because AI is turbocharging the discovery process.
Now, finally, in materials science, the source touches on that whole LK99 episode from 2023.
Yeah, the supposed room temperature superconductor claim. That was wild. Came out of a small lab in South Korea, claimed the Holy Grail, caused a global frenzy
Yeah.
that mostly fizzled on replication, right? Didn't quite show true zero resistance.
Exactly. An extraordinary claim, decades ahead of where most thought the science was. Now, the source points out the original authors didn't credit AI for their initial finding, though its suddenness did make some people speculate.
Sure. But even if AI wasn't in the discovery, it was definitely all over the response, wasn't it?
That's the crucial point the source makes, that whole global validation phase. Researchers were using machine learning models left and right, analyzing the claim structure, predicting properties, sharing results instantly on places like RCIF and online forums. It turned into this massive, almost open-source science sprint.
Fueled partly by AI tools and super fast online collaboration.
Yeah. So the LK99 story, even though the material itself wasn't the breakthrough, really demonstrated how incredibly quickly the scientific community can now mobilize to test and, in this case, debunk a surprising claim thanks to AI analysis and digital platforms.
It showed how a really wild claim can trigger this almost instantaneous global reaction, like AI alerting the world to a possibility. And it hints that if a real breakthrough of that scale happened, maybe from an AI-designed material,
It could emerge fast from anywhere and be verified or challenged at internet speed. It changes the whole tempo of scientific validation.
so even the process of science is accelerating. How fast we confirm things, how fast we move on, that's fundamental.
Okay, let's switch gears again. Clean energy. Another area seeing leaps that feel, well, ahead of schedule. Often because AI can optimize these super complex systems in ways humans just can't.
Nuclear fusion comes to mind, the ultimate clean energy dream. The source mentions AI actually stabilizing fusion reactions in 2024.
Yeah, this was a really significant step. Princeton researchers working with Google DeepMind developed an AI control system, and it successfully prevented plasma instabilities inside a tokamak reactor, the DIID tokamak.
Keeping that super hot, chaotic plasma stable,
Mm-hmm.
that's been a core challenge for fusion power for decades, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It's incredibly difficult. So how did the AI do it?
Yeah.
It used deep reinforcement learning. Basically, it learned through trial and error on vast amounts of historical fusion data. It figured out how to adjust dozens of magnetic coils in real time to keep the plasma contained. It even learned to predict potential disruptions about 300 milliseconds before they happened and tweak the magnets to prevent them. It found control strategies better than any human-designed rules, like an AI pilot for the fusion reaction.
Predicting and stopping problems that were expected to take years more to solve, that's definitely ahead of the curve.
Controlling plasma stability was a major roadblock. AI cracked it early. And the source suggests this hints that AI simulation and control might have quietly played a role in other recent fusion milestones, too, like the U.S. achieving net positive ignition that relied heavily on complex modeling, likely AI-assisted.
So that timeline to practical fusion power,
Hmm.
the one that always felt like it was 30 years away, maybe AI is actually shortening it. Because it can handle the insane physics complexity faster.
It certainly suggests that possibility. Another great energy example from the source. Finding a new catalyst for green hydrogen production. In just days.
Green hydrogen, yeah, vital for decarbonizing heavy industry, shipping, etc. But making it efficiently needs good catalysts, and those are usually expensive platinum group metals. Hard to find better ones.
Exactly. So a team at the University of Toronto used AI. They trained a model on, I think, 36,000 possible combinations of metals to find the best blend for boosting hydrogen production, making it efficient and durable.
And the AI just spat out a winner super fast.
Pretty much. It pointed to a specific alloy, ruthenium, chromium, titanium. They made it, tested it, and found it was 20 times more stable and longer lasting than the current catalysts.
20 times.
And the AI found this recipe in days, not the years it usually takes to sift through possibilities in the lab.
That's using AI for inverse design, right? Tell the AI the properties you want, and it finds the material. That seems incredibly powerful for accelerating discovery.
Definitely. And this success makes you think, how many other recent wow results in solar panels or carbon capture materials might have AI-driven discovery behind them, even if it's not the headline?
And again, it levels the playing field. A university team leverages AI smarts and potentially makes a breakthrough that previously needed huge industrial lab resources, accelerating the path to cheaper, clean fuels.
We touched on solid-state batteries earlier under materials, but their rapid progress fits perfectly here too. Multiple announcements in 2024 showing prototypes maturing way faster than expected.
Right, including that Microsoft P&L one where AI found the electrolyte in 80 hours.
Exactly. We're seeing prototypes with double or triple the energy density of current lithium-ion, lasting for 10,000 charge cycles. These are big jumps.
And battery development is complex, lots of chemistry, formulation, charging profiles.
For sure. And it relies heavily on AI and machine learning already for optimizing formulations, managing charging. Companies are almost certainly using AI deep in the R&D process for material selection and cell engineering. It helps explain why things seem to be moving faster now. The source even noted a big spike in battery patents recently.
So we're ahead of the historical curve for energy storage improvements because AI can just process all that complex chemical and engineering data so much more effectively.
It seems that way. Which means, for you, longer-range EVs, safer gadget batteries, they could arrive significantly sooner than the old roadmaps predicted. This hidden AI factor lets even smaller, nimbler startups potentially leapfrog the big players.
It directly impacts your future car, your phone. Better batteries are definitely coming faster.
Okay, finally, let's look at computing itself. Because AI isn't just the subject of breakthroughs anymore, it's increasingly designing the very tools and infrastructure that make everything else possible.
Right, this is where AI starts optimizing its own foundation. The source brought up AlphaDev from 2023.
AlphaDev, Google DeepMind again. This was an AI agent that found better algorithms for sorting data.
Sorting, like putting lists in order. Seems basic, but I guess computers do it constantly.
Trillions of times a day globally. It's fundamental. And for decades, human experts basically thought the standard sorting algorithms, like the ones in the C++ standard library, were pretty much as good as they could get, nearly optimal.
And AlphaDev found a better way. Seriously.
Yep. It used reinforcement learning, treated finding the best algorithm like playing a game, exploring millions of sequences of computer instructions, and it found a new sorting routine that was measurably faster for short lists of data than the best-known human-designed one, which was like 40 years old.
Wow. And what happened to this AI-discovered code?
This is the kicker. It was actually integrated into the LLVM C++ standard library. LLVM is this core piece of infrastructure used worldwide by tons of programming languages and software.
So an algorithm designed by an AI is now running inside the fundamental code that underpins huge amounts of the world's software.
Basically, yes.
Okay, that is absolutely an emergent capability, and way ahead of when most people thought AI would be impacting core computer science at that fundamental level.
Algorithm design felt like this uniquely human thing, needing intuition, creativity. AlphaDev showed AI could tackle it, and sooner than expected. It suggests a future where AI routinely finds subtle software optimizations we'd miss, making everything run faster without even needing new hardware.
And the source notes, again, the timing. Just months after GPT-4 came out in 2023. That period really feels like a tipping point where AI started improving the digital plumbing itself.
So the software you use every day is getting faster in these deep, invisible ways thanks to AI.
Beyond software algorithms, AI is also designing the hardware, the chips themselves, at scale now.
Chip design is incredibly complex, right? Billions of transistors, pushing physics. The source mentions these EDA electronic design automation companies reporting a huge jump in AI-designed chips starting early 2023.
EDA firms. They make the software tools chip designers use.
Exactly. Companies like Synopsys announced their AI tool. DSO.ai Design Space Optimization AI had been used for over 100 commercial tapeouts.
Tapeouts, meaning completed designs ready for the factory.
Right, including cutting-edge chips on the newest 5-nanometer and 3-nanometer processes. Other big players like SK Hynix reported using AI for laying out chip components, getting big productivity boosts, even making chips smaller. Google used AI in designing its own TPU chips for AI. It became standard practice really fast, hitting milestones thought years away.
So Moore's law, the idea that chips keep getting better, which seem to be slowing down, AI is giving it a new shot in the arm.
It seems so. The sheer complexity is overwhelming for humans. AI tools can explore these enormous design spaces, juggling trade-offs between power, performance, and chip area, PPA, finding better solutions iteratively.
And the fact that major companies trust AI for their flagship, most important chips, that shows real confidence in getting better than human results.
Executives were saying AI is basically essential now to keep pushing the limits of transistor density. It shaves months off design cycles, squeezes out extra performance.
So those first 100 AI-designed chips are just the start. We should expect hardware leaps more often, maybe faster than the old 2-year tick-tock.
Potentially. And it could help smaller chip companies compete, too, using these powerful AI tools.
Plus, there's that feedback loop you mentioned.
Yeah, the virtuous cycle. AI designs better chips. Those better chips run the next generation of AI even faster, which then designs even better chips. It's an acceleration engine.
So the devices you rely on, your laptop, phone, console, Kessel, they're getting more powerful faster, partly because AI is now co-designing the brains inside them.
And the final computing example, maybe the one with the broadest impact, is just how LLMs have boosted software development overall.
Ah, this is the GitHub Copilot effect, right?
Yep.
Millions of programmers suddenly got an AI assistant after GPT-4.
Exactly. By late 2023, these AI pair programmers were everywhere. Reports suggested developers were coding routine stuff maybe 50% faster. And think how quickly companies integrated sophisticated AI features, chatbots, generative tools into software you use daily. Office, Gmail, Photoshop, operating systems. That happened incredibly fast, often just months after the underlying AI models advanced.
So it wasn't one single breakthrough, but this pervasive use of AI helpers just sped up the whole software industry, systemically.
That's the idea. These coding AIs usually fine-tune LLMs, offer smart suggestions, write boilerplate code, even help outline algorithms from just a description. It might be hidden from you as the user, but developers report being way more productive.
We heard stories of startups building complex apps with tiny teams because AI handled so much grunt work.
Right, so the cumulative effect is a much faster cycle time from a software idea to actually getting it deployed across the entire industry.
And that also levels the playing field, doesn't it? A lone developer using AI tools can maybe build something that used to take a whole team months.
Absolutely. It helps explain the explosion of new apps and features we've seen since late 2023. There's this kind of hidden AI labor propelling the software world forward, compressing time to market drastically.
So new apps, new features, new capabilities are just showing up faster than ever, constantly improving your digital life, because AI is doing a lot of the heavy lifting now.
So yeah, looking across all these fields, biotech, materials, energy, computing the pattern the source material highlights is pretty clear. AI is this powerful catalyst, sometimes obvious, often hidden, but it's fundamentally accelerating innovation.
Fields that used to move slowly are suddenly leaping ahead. We're seeing emerging capabilities results coming years ahead of schedule.
And very often, these big jumps happen soon after major advancements in AI models became widely accessible, suggesting researchers are incredibly quick to grab these new tools and apply them, even if the AI isn't the headline discovery itself.
It's also really interesting how it seems to be leveling the playing field. You don't necessarily need to be in the biggest lab or richest country anymore.
Right. Smaller labs, universities, individuals can punch above their weight if they're smart about using AI and collaborating online quickly.
Like that LK99 frenzy showing how fast the global community can react. Or generative AI, letting small startups build big things. The source even gave the example of India's Chandrayaan-3 moon landing in 2023. Huge success on a tight budget. Likely involved a lot of smart simulation and analysis, probably AI augmented, showing ingenuity and tech adoption can overcome resource limits.
So, summing up, the last year or so has really shown tech progress chimping the queue in multiple areas. And AI, directly or indirectly, is the common thread weaving through these unexpected accelerations.
It feels like we're entering a time where those old historical development curves, the expected pace of change, are just constantly being broken by AI-powered research.
Scientists and engineers have this new kind of partner, a learning algorithm, an LLM, an optimizer, helping them push frontiers faster, achieving things that seemed like science fiction just a few years ago.
These examples aren't just anomalies, they feel like the new normal for discovery.
Yeah.
So let's just pause and appreciate that speed again. AI helps find antibiotics in months, not decades, discovers battery materials in days, not years, designs fundamental computer code better than humans thought possible, helps control fusion reactions we've struggled with for ages. That's quite a year.
And crucially, as we've emphasized, this isn't just academic. It directly impacts your health through faster medicine, the energy transition, the power of the devices in your pocket, the software you use constantly.
Which brings us to a final thought, something the source material really implies. If this is just the beginning, what other massive problems, things that seem impossible or decades away right now, are being quietly chipped away at, maybe even solved, by AI behind the scenes as we speak? How is this hidden acceleration going to reshape our world in the next few years, completely upending the timelines we thought were fixed?
It's a profound question to ponder, isn't it? As these AI tools get woven deeper into every thread of innovation.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into a year of surprising AI-fueled tech leaps. Keep your eyes open for what comes next. Chances are it'll arrive sooner than you think.